Shalom, Koholoyim La, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Oscar Damana Sedels of GMS, and honest you, Akim. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters that listen to Church of the Firstborn, hopeful elect, Koholoyim La, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And, this wasn't a video I was going to do originally, but seen it in the news, man. I was like, damn, man, this dude, DJ Trump, that cruel Lord Isaiah 19 chapter, this guy, man, he passed another executive order to criminalize homelessness, man. Yo, man, this devil, they speaking like a dragon. Criminalize being homeless. That's the executive order. Pretty much removes, and pretty much they pressuring local governments to crack down on homelessness. You can no longer sleep on the streets, right? Parks, hell, the woods. Aisha coming down on you, man. Right? Remove these unhoused individuals, these poor individuals, which we know that's mainly what's really going to affect everybody. Right? Show you this is why the elite put this guy up in there, man. This is why they put this guy up in there, man. It's to cause chaos. Right? He built all these detention centers, aka these concentration camps. Where do you think they're going to put them homeless people? Let me read this article right here. It says, how Trump's executive order could criminalize homelessness, terrifying. And they pretty much break the executive order down. Broad language. It says, could allow cities to lock up unhoused people as aid is cut and housing costs soar, experts warn. So these states, these cities, they can lock up unhoused individuals. See, like they said, most Americans don't have $1,000 in their savings account. Meaning most people in this country, even the so-called middle class, right, is living paycheck to paycheck. Right? They also said most people are 3 meals away from anarchy. And people are not socially stable anymore. These are bad times, man. And of course that, we put it in the community post. There's been a lot of layoffs, a lot of people losing their jobs. I see certain factories, Tyson Food, Pennsylvania, almost 1,000 people going to lose their jobs. We already did videos on the big, beautiful bill. He's going to cut Medicaid. He's going to cut Social Security. He's going to cut SNAP. And now they're making homelessness a crime, man. And we also know that they are crashing this economy. It's an engineered collapse in order for them to bring forth their CBDC or their digital currency. And this is why they put this guy up there. And he also teamed up with the tech overlords, right? AI surveillance, Planeteer, right? This dystopia world, man. Social credit score, all that's coming, man. Right? America's going to look like a damn dystopia world real soon, man. And the elites is bringing this globally. So this is why they put this guy up there, man. Now, homelessness is a crime. Let me get Isaiah the 10th chapter. But you Israelites, you refuse to wake up. They don't want you, Jakes. You don't get it, man. The scripture says this is not our rest, man. In Micah the 2nd chapter, we weren't sent here to prosper. And above all, we're really pilgrims. The Most High, of course, bless brothers with jobs, brothers out businesses and whatnot, homes, apartment or cars, whatever the case is, man. But that's all temporary, man. Because we all going to be tried. And we all about to be faced with the biggest test of our life when this devil come down with the RFID, man. When he makes that mandatory, man. Let me get Isaiah the 10th chapter. Let's get Isaiah the 10th chapter. So he passed executive order and he wants to start with D.C. He wants the federal government to take over D.C. See, these unrighteous decrees. Let's get that actually. Isaiah the 10th chapter says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, these laws, that they write grievousness which they have prescribed, like Trump. Executive order after executive order. I forgot how, when he first came in office back in January, and look at that, it's not even a year yet, and look how much hell this guy is causing already. He passed over 100 executive orders he wrote. Right, some of them they shot down, these different courts. This guy's just on fire, man. All right, it says, to turn aside the needy from judgment and take away the right from the poor of my people, which this is going to affect Israelites, you Negroes, Hispanics, you Native American Indians. And they're going to throw your ass in there. You Jakes, you getting on the Northern Kingdom, they're going to throw your ass in them camps too. Right? It's pretty much a crime to be homeless. It's a crime to be poor. And this is all because he knows that, like we said, the economy is going to collapse. And there's only going to be two classes of people. This is all the elite doing. Rich and poor. They're wiping out the middle class. Period, man. It's either part of the elite, or like back then in Rome, you had the plebeians and the patricians. Right? Which the patricians were pretty much, members of the Senate, wealthy landowners, pretty much the upper class. And then you had the plebeians, which are just commoners, the laborers. So that's pretty much what you're going to have in this society, man. Like Klaus Schwab said it, he said it best. The WF, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Right? Eating bugs, living in a pod, man. This is coming to this society, man. And of course, everything governed and controlled by AI surveillance. Let me get Psalms 36 chapter, which goes to Isaiah 10 chapter. Let me get that. Psalms 36. I think it's verse 3. Let's see. Oh, let me get second Ezra's, man, because this famine is coming, man. Right? I put that in the post as well. Let me read this precept first. Psalm 36, verse 3. It says, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. Right? I saw this. The scripture says he was created for the day of evil. Right? This man is evil. He devoured the poor, the scripture says, with lying words. Okay? The scripture says he that despises the poor displeaseth his maker. There's laws on, given to the poor, defending the fatherless and the widows. This is Isaiah the 1st chapter, Deuteronomy 15:24, right? Leviticus the 19th chapter, right? There's all leaving grapes for the gleaners or the poor of Israel. That's a law on that, man. See, but let's keep reading though. It says, he deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil, because he is the wicked. Malachi the 1st chapter. 2 Thessalonians the 2nd chapter. The wicked is being revealed. The man of sin. And he's pushing these unrighteous decrees. And they already set the stage for chaos to happen. He know more and more people going to lose their jobs. Hyperinflation. Like we said, the tariffs just went in. Okay? Everything is about to go up. The dollar's going to get weak. Okay? And they have other false flags set up. Let me get 2 Ezra the 6th chapter. It's a classic precept. Classic. And you know what? Isaiah the 10th chapter, I just read that actually, unrighteous decrees. Well, let's read verse 6 before I jump. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 6. Because this is really Yahweh Bashim Shah. Let's read verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. So back then the Most High sent the Assyrians after the northern kingdom. Right? Well, now the modern day Assyrian is Aishah. Go to read that 2 Ezra 15th chapter. The book of Nahum. This is the mother of witchcraft, Babylon the Great. This is modern day Assyria. Aishah is the modern day Assyrian, which were known for their cruelty. When the Most High said the rod of his, he's the rod of his anger. He's the axe that he's wielding. Right? And he's using them for what? The day of evil. Right? And he's using them to come down with great wrath, especially on the 2/3. All right, so let me jump to 2 Ezra the 6th chapter. It's a classic scripture. Let's get that, man, because there's going to be a major famine. All right, that's how Aishah is going to be justified in bringing forth this new system. This is what we're supposed to be talking about, man. Not foolish debates. Okay, we not or whatever, seeing these guys in marriage, this and that. We don't got time. We're not in that time, man. Right? The scripture says the spirit of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. Right? IUIC, always doing some bullshit. ICPK, this guy, Tazariak, you know, he wants to no jumper podcast, this podcast. Yo, man, you guys not in this. Well, you know what? You guys are not the prophets, man. Right? It's just that plain and simple. Second Ezra, a prophet is supposed to be doing what? Jeremiah the 28th chapter. Prophesying of the evils to come. Okay? Great evils is coming to the society. And let's read Second Ezra the 6th chapter. Second Ezra chapter 6 verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. There's going to be a major famine. Major famine. Right? Which we know the stone, that's dealing with agriculture. Right? These different barns where you have, these farms where they plant seeds and they have crops and they put it in the barns, these storehouses. Well, what does the scripture say? It's going to be bare, man. The barns are going to be empty. Let's read that precept again. It says, and suddenly the sown places shall appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. It's going to be what you said is an engineered collapse. Okay? Because the farmers, they're affected by the tariffs. Everybody's going to be affected by the tariffs. And as America go down, that's going to cause the global economy to start falling. And Aishar is going to come with that solution. And the scripture says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall suddenly be afraid. Right? When people hear the stock market has crashed, terrorist attacks, right? Hyperinflation, the dollar is useless. People are going to be afraid. And the scripture says what? At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still. Carnally, right? You're not going to have no running clean water after these power outages and these cyber attacks. Okay? But even on a spiritual level, the rivers of living water, you're not going to have access to that either. Because when the power goes down, the men of the Lord, you're not going to see us on the internet anymore, man. And the joke going to be on you, Jakes, that was scoffing and mocking and giving your bullshit opinion on the scriptures and the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, the scripture says the fountains shall stand still, in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world, man. So Lord said, if you endure all of that to the end, you're going to see salvation being delivered by Yahweh Shai. And he tells you in the chapter before, 2nd Ezra the 5th chapter, if you make it past the third trumpet, which that's going into the final destruction, you read that in Revelation the 8th chapter, it's going to be like the sun shining in the night and the moon thrice in the day. That's a miracle. All right? So that's how much hell is going to be on the planet Earth. Okay? People are going to be destitute. Friends, like the scripture said, friends going to be at each other's throat. Family, a man's foe shall be there with his own household. People are going to be desperate. Robberies, looting, cannibalism. Anybody that's in these major cities, that's a death trap. Especially if Yahweh Shem Shah is not with you, man. Right? You're going to have checkpoints, man. See? The scripture tells you in Lamentations, the 4th chapter. So like we said, they're bringing this engineered collapse. And now he's saying that it's a crime to be homeless. And he wants all these different local governments, these cities, to remove homeless people, man. And where are they going to put them? You already know. In them different detention centers, aka concentration camps. Right? Get rid of all the undesirables. And this is mainly targeted Israel. But you know what? Even these Edom, everybody's going to catch hell, man. The Egyptian going to be against the Egyptian. Let's read Lamentations 4:9. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that slain with hunger. And people are going to say, oh, you guys always prophesying evil. Yes, man. Yes, man. All right? Read the scriptures when you go into Ahab. Okay? When he wanted to, Josaphat say, yo, listen, man, they got to be one prophet of the Lord here. When them false 400 prophets of Baal told him, yeah, go up and fight at Ramoth Gilead. Josaphat said, nah, righteous king. They got to be one righteous. And they say, yeah, Micah. But Ahab said, I hate him because all he do was prophesy evil, man. And that's what we're saying, the many evils to come. Right? These preachers in church, they ain't bringing this out, man. They gonna say, oh, pray. Right? If some of them do know, they'll say, oh, pray for these things not to happen. What the hell are you talking about, man? Everything that's written is going to come to pass. The Most High is not a man that he should lie. And why would you pray for these things not to happen? Yahweh Shai said these things must happen before he make his second coming. We're supposed to hasten the day. We're supposed to want that to happen, man. For the Most High to bring down our enemies and adversaries and to bring down Babylon. Right? Let's read. Lamentation 4:9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. Right? For these pine away stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. So the scripture says, because it goes into the next verse, how the women were, I just did a video on that, were slaughtering their own children. So scripture says, better to die by the sword, a quick, violent death, than to die in pretty much slow, agonizing pain, man. Pain, man. Okay? Let me read a couple more precepts, and I'm going to close this out. Just mainly wanted to tackle this new executive order. You know, every day this guy is signing some new order. There's never a dull moment with Trump, man. Out of all the presidents, this guy is always major news. Most presidents, you don't even know what they do. This guy, every single day, he's the top news. Okay? Now, that's why I script 2nd Ezra 16 verse 40, which that's a classic precept we always go into. How let's read it though. 2nd Ezra 16:40. How the script talk about great pains, the plagues are not gonna be slack, the world gonna be mourning. Let's read 2nd Ezra 16:40. Oh my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth, man. Don't be Lot's wife, man. Don't be Lot's wife, man. Scripture says she was a monument for an unbelieving soul. She was attached to these carnal things, man. And that's why she turned into a pillar of salt. So scripture commands us to be pilgrims. Right? Just like our forefathers. Right? Scripture says Jacob dwelled in tents. Our forefather Abraham, Isaac. See, when we was in the wilderness, that's a Feast of Tabernacles. Okay? When we was on our way to the promised land, man. Well, it's going to be the same thing, man. And we got to move by faith. This is coming. We're going to lose access to our, cushy homes and be able to buy and cook when we want, man. That's going to be a thing of the past, man. It's going to be the worst time ever, man. All right? The scripture says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away. And he that buyeth is one that will lose. Because we all, like we said, we're going to lose access to all these things that we had, all these comforts that Yahweh Shemel Shah has blessed us with for the time being. Okay? It says, all right, you're going to lose access to your job, all of that. When Aisha shut down with his cyber attacks, which they've been showing that in these shows, Leave the World Behind, movies, you won't get access to your funds in the bank. What you going to do then, man? Like Ezra said, who going to be with me in them times, man? We going to put out all our faith and we going to cast all our burdens and our troubles and our worries on Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. And he going to work miracles in that time, man. Right? So scripture says, he that selleth, let him that fleeth away, and he that buyeth is one that will lose, man. Right? Now, this whole chapter is good. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Just mainly want to tackle that part. That's why the scripture says, Hebrews 13:24. Close this out to the power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Hebrews 13:24. So imagine that. It's a crime to be homeless, man. It's insane, man. Hebrews 13:24. No, 14. What I'm talking about. It says, for here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come, which is what? The kingdom. The kingdom, man. Matter of fact, that's Hebrews 11th chapter. Let's read. Hebrews 11, verse 8. Let's start from 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should have received for inheritance, obeyed and went out. And not knowing whether he went, he was just walking by faith. Okay, he just left his father, Terah, the idol worship, the land of Ur, the Chaldeans over there in Mesopotamia. and went into the land of Canaan, man. Which was a journey back into the garden. Which that's spiritual. Because we spiritually coming out of Babylon. Back then, during the time of Abe, that was the sense of the world. Just like America, and spiritually we return back to Yahweh Shemel Shah. The tree of life, aka Yahweh Shai, man. We were Gentiles, strangers, foreigners. Now we return back to the tree of life, man. We got access to the knowledge. Okay? And the Lord gonna come back and physically save us out here. Also tells in Isaiah the 19th chapter. So it says what? Let's read on. By faith he sojourned in the land of the promise as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob. See? Pilgrims. The heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High, man. There you go. Call him Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. Right? So he left his homeland. Right? And scripture says, he left his homeland to go to the promised land. That's the Most High's favorite land. That's his favorite pit. That's going to be the capital, man. Jerusalem, man. See? And the favorite land is the land of Israel, man. Not where them gutter rats are right now. All right? Read Solomon, his 1 Kings, the 4th chapter, how vast his our land was, man. Okay? So everything's going to be renewed, man. So we know that. There's going to be a new heavens, a new earth. Not the earth itself is going to be destroyed, but new rulership. Okay? And everything's going to be made afresh, man. And we're going to rule with new bodies. Right now we at the bottom, but the Lord is about to raise us up. Matter of fact, let me read that. So the devil, he's going to come with more unrighteous decrees. It's about to get crazier and crazier from here on out, man. Okay? Don't be surprised or shocked at anything. And don't get too comfortable. Okay? 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 8. This is Hannah, Samuel's mother. This is the prayer she said. She said, 1 Samuel 2 and 7. Yahweh Shemel Shah maketh poor, maketh rich. He bringeth flow and lifteth up. He raised up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh Shemel Shah, and he hath set up the world upon them. Call him now Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. And who's the poor? The saints, the Israelites. And the Most High is about to raise up out of the dust this low state. And we gonna rule, man. Okay? So, hopefully this lesson was edifying. Like I say, call him now Yahweh Shemel Shah. Shalom.